Suit yourself. He drank the herd's water he'd offered the alien warrior, leaving her stunned. The scorched plains of terror stretched before Caleb Reynolds like a testament to humanity's resilience. Once verdant farmland now lay barren, ravaged by 3 years of relentless alien bombardment. His family farm, passed down through 5 generations, had been reduced to charred timber and memories. Burned fences jutted from the soil like broken ribs. Rusted irrigation wheels lay half-buried in ash. Caleb wiped sweat from his brow, his muscular frame silhouetted against the sinking sun. At 29, his face carried the weathered look of someone who'd seen too much too soon. His vivid blue eyes, once bright with optimism, now held a steely resolve forged by loss, hunger, and survival. "Come on, Brutus," he murmured to the chestnut stallion beside him, one of only 3 horses to survive the first orbital strike. "Let's get you watered before dark." Brutus snorted softly, ears flicking. He was leaner than he should have been, ribs faintly visible beneath his coat, but his eyes were strong, loyal, alive. That alone made him priceless. Caleb guided the horse toward a shallow depression, where a herd of native grazers clustered nervously around a shrinking pool of water. 6-legged, thick-skinned beasts, alien but peaceful. Survivors, like everything else that still moved on this ruined world. And guarding them stood her, the warrior. She emerged from the heat haze like a carved statue of war. Tall, nearly 7 feet, broad shoulders wrapped in layered bone armor. Her skin was dark bronze, etched with pale scars that traced old victories. A heavy axe rested casually against her shoulder, its blade chipped from real use. Her golden eyes locked onto Caleb instantly. She did not shout. She did not threaten. She simply stepped between him and the water. "This water belongs to the herd," she said in heavily accented English. "And the herd is under my protection." Caleb stopped. Brutus stamped the ground, thirsty. "I'm not here to take it," Caleb said calmly. "Just passing through. I've got water of my own." He unclipped his canteen and held it up. Sealed. Half full. Precious. Her gaze sharpened. "You will give that to me," she said. "Then you will leave." Caleb studied her for a long moment. 3 years ago, he might have argued. 3 years ago, he might have tried to bargain. But 3 years of war had taught him something else. Choice mattered. He lowered the canteen and unscrewed it. Then, without breaking eye contact, he drank. Stunned silence. The sound of swallowing echoed across the hollow. The alien warrior's eyes widened, not in rage, but disbelief. Caleb drank slowly, deeply, enough to wet his throat, not enough to waste. Then he recapped the canteen and tossed it gently at her feet. "Suit yourself," he said. "You're welcome to it." Silence fell. Even the herd stilled. "You insult me," she said quietly. Caleb shook his head. "No. I respected you enough not to lie." She frowned. "Explain." "You thought I was offering you water because I was weak," he said. "I offered because I knew what thirst feels like." Her grip tightened on the axe. "And now," Caleb said, "I walk away thirsty. Because choice still matters." She stared at him like she was seeing something new and dangerous. The long walk. She did not strike him down. Instead, she turned and gestured toward the plains. "You will walk with us," she said. "If you collapse, you stay." "Fair enough," Caleb replied. They moved at dusk, the herd plodding steadily across cracked earth. Heat radiated from the ground even as the sky darkened. Caleb's tongue felt like leather, his vision blurred at the edges. The warrior, Koresh, she later told him, watched him closely. He did not beg. When he finally fell, it was quiet. Knees buckling, hands scraping dirt. Brutus whinnied in panic. Koresh knelt beside him, 2 fingers pressed to his neck. Alive. Barely. She looked back toward the distant pool they'd left behind. Then she made a decision that would shame her people. She lifted Caleb onto Brutus's saddle and uncapped the canteen. She poured water into his mouth. Carefully. Slowly. Raiders at dawn. They were attacked at sunrise. Skimmers burst over the ridge. Alien raiders drawn by the herd. Weapons barked. One grazer screamed as plasma tore into its flank. Koresh roared orders, charging forward like a living storm. Caleb forced himself upright, vision swimming. "I can help," he rasped. "You are weak," Koresh snapped. "Still useful." He pulled the last homemade charge from his pack, fertilizer, scrap wire, and desperation. When a skimmer dipped low, he hurled it beneath the engine. The explosion flipped the craft end over end. Chaos erupted. Koresh moved with terrifying precision, axe cleaving metal and flesh alike. Caleb dragged a wounded grazer free, cutting harness lines as blaster fire scorched the ground inches from his hands. By the time the raiders fled, smoke curled into the sky. The herd still stood, alive, understanding. That night, Koresh sat beside the fire while Caleb wrapped his burned hands. "You could have taken the water," she said quietly. "By force." "So could you," Caleb replied. She nodded. "My people believe strength is measured by what you take." Caleb stared into the flames. "Mine used to believe it was measured by what you protect." She studied him for a long time. "Then your people were strong," she said. Epilogue. Weeks later, a human relief convoy found Caleb living among the Plains tribes. He'd rebuilt fences, dug wells, taught them how to rotate grazing to preserve land. Koresh watched from a ridge, arms crossed. "You will leave," she said. "Eventually," Caleb answered. She extended her forearm. He clasped it. "Rat's Plains will remember you," she said. Caleb smiled faintly. "So will I." As he mounted Brutus and rode toward the horizon, the water shimmered behind him, not as something owned, but as something shared. And for the first time since the war began, the land did not feel entirely broken.